I'm 78 years old and I use ChatGPT almost every single day. I'm telling you my age for a reason. Technology is changing so quickly, and sometimes it can feel like everybody else knows what's going on except for you. Well, I don't know everything that's going on either. I don't know everything about artificial intelligence or AI. I don't know everything about computers. Sometimes I look at something on my phone, even, and I say, what in the world does that mean? But I've learned something. I can ask. I don't have to know the answer, but I can ask and ask again. Like this. I'm having trouble here. That's what I want this channel to be about. Welcome to Curious. Just Ask. I'm Laurel, and I'm going to show you how I actually use AI in my daily life. Not things somebody told me I could do with it, but things I really do. In fact, something happened today that is the perfect example. I tried sending a picture from my phone to my computer, and I ran into something that's called HELOC. Not HELOC. That has to do with a mortgage. It's HEIC. HECEC? I don't know how it's even pronounced really, but I needed to do something about it. I took a picture on my iPhone, sent it to my computer, and tried to send it to ChatGPT. It wouldn't work because my picture was that HEIC HEIC file. I didn't know what HEIC meant. I just knew that it was keeping me from doing what I wanted to do. So what did I do? I asked ChatGPT. It told me about a setting on my iPhone. So I changed it and tried it again. It still didn't work. So I went back and said, in effect, nope, it's still the HEIC. So we tried something else. Well, that time it came through as a JPEG. That's what I wanted. I wanted the picture in the JPEG format. And so I said, bingo, we've got a winner. That's how I use ChatGPT or AI. I don't always sit down and write something elaborate, a perfect prompt, most of the time. I just have a question because something is happening in my life. What does this mean? How do I do this? This isn't working. Is this legitimate? Is there an easier way to do this? And sometimes all I do is, help! What do I do now? He asks. Then I keep asking until I understand. Sometimes I use it when I'm working with technology. Sometimes I use it when I'm trying to learn a new skill. I use it to research ideas. I use it to help me think through problems. Sometimes it helps me organize, something that just keeps rolling around in my head. Sometimes I already know what to say, but I need help in putting it together. Sometimes I simply don't know where to begin. Sometimes AI gives me an answer I don't agree with, although that's really not too often. But that is important. I don't believe we should turn our thinking over to artificial intelligence. ChatGPT can be wrong. It keeps telling me that. There are a few times I've found mistakes, but not too often. But I can be wrong. You can be wrong. So when something is important, especially something that involves money, safety, health, legal matters, personal information, I don't want to simply to accept the first answer that we receive. That's why I've developed 4 little words I want us to remember on this channel. Ask, learn, verify, act. First, ask. Don't be embarrassed because you don't know something. Then learn. Read the answer. Ask another question. Ask it to explain something more simply if you need to. Verify. This is an important check. Check with reliable sources before you do anything. Then, and only then, act. I learned the importance of that the hard way. I was the victim of a scam. There were things happening that didn't make sense, and instead of stopping, asking enough questions, I got caught up in what was happening. That story I'm going to tell you in another video, because I think what happened to me could help someone else. Today, I do things differently. If something doesn't make sense, I stop. I ask. I want you to know something else. You do not have to be 78 to belong here. You might be 28. You might be 48. You might be 98. I don't care. Are you curious? Do you still want to learn? Is there still something you don't understand? Then you belong here. I believe curiosity keeps us engaged with life. There is always another question to ask, another thing to discover, another way to grow. I certainly don't know all of the answers, but I certainly don't intend to stop learning because someone else thinks I'm old enough to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. That's the fun of it. So on this channel, I'm going to share real life situations from my real life. If I have trouble with my computer, we'll figure it out together. If I discover something useful in ChatGPT, I'll show you. If something new comes along and I don't understand it, we'll investigate it. If I make a mistake, I'm going to share it with you. I'll tell you about that too. I want your questions. Tell me in the comments, what are you curious about? What do you wish somebody would explain without making you feel as though you should already know it? Come on, give me your questions. Your questions might just become one of our next videos. Next time, Remember, ask, learn, verify, then and only then act. Above all, stay curious. I'm Laurel, and this is Curious. Just ask. I'll see you next time.